Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Scoville.com. Try Scoville.com's hot sauce subscription box, where you pick the heat, flavor, and food pairings you want in your box. Get 1 or 3 bottles delivered to your door each month. Choose your heat level, flavor profile, and food pairings. And it's completely customizable each month. You no longer have to worry about getting sauces you don't like or won't use. Scoville.com specially curates each month's box based on your personal preferences. And best of all, High Desert Sauce Co., Butterfly Bakery of Vermont, and Irish Spike's unique hot sauces are all available at Scoville.com. Welcome to Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers.
I have another kind of broader question. I know, Gabe, you sell on Amazon. Spike, do you sell on Amazon?
No, and I've been thinking about it.
We're gonna get that up and running on our part. And one of the things we're trying to wrap our brains around is how to pack the product. We do our caramel is on Amazon, and we just wrap in bubble wrap and, put the Amazon sticker on it. And, Gabe, do you kit in a box, or do you wrap it in bubble wrap, or how do you prepare it for Amazon?
So they go into 20 by 14 by 18 boxes, and they're all wrapped individually with 2 sheets of thin bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And then gets to whatever warehouse it happens to be going. So it's kind of, I have a good buddy of mine that actually started a beer company while I was in the beer business, and he was doing, that's a kind of his side gig. So what I do is we obviously, I think we had a little rendezvous with Butterfly doing our Amazon for a little bit. It was like for 1 or 2 orders with Robert.
Yeah.
Like 4-ish years ago or something like that. And then it just didn't work out money wise. But so it was initially at a different co-packer, then we did it with you. Now I'm doing it in-house with the rest of our fulfillment that we do. But I do have a friend who kind of manages Amazon for us from within Amazon. So he'll say, oh, hey, this is what you need to get on order. Like, he'll help me with the listings. I just have no bandwidth for that. So what we do is he'll be like, hey, Gabe, for this week, to avoid out of stocks, you're going to want to get, Mako Snake, this. We do it so that there's 55 bottles in a 20 by 14 by 18, each individually wrapped. And then we have the Amazon sticker on each of those. And then Amazon, once it gets to the said warehouse, which really is so many different places. I've sent it to, Charlotte, North Carolina, a lot in PA, sometimes Maryland. But anyway, then it'll go in the separate box once they open it. But I do print every label, do wrap everyone, put the Amazon label on that, and then once it gets to that warehouse, they're then putting it into another box, if you will. Now, I've seen different ones because sometimes they get returned to me. So sometimes it might be a cardboard box, sometimes it might be a bubble mailer. Those are the things that I wish you could have full control over, but you kind of can't, from what I can tell.
You mean you said that sometimes they get returned to you from a cardboard box?
Every now and then a box will get returned to the address that we shipped it from, like our shipping address. And so the box that it's in, that Amazon packed it in once it went to them, will vary sometimes. So sometimes they'll put it into a bubble mailer. Sometimes
I see
into a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Got it.
I see.
But yeah, we do all of that is in-house here in Portsmouth.
Because I know at one point I passed on the information from somebody who said that they were doing a kitting service. Did you ever look into that?
I did in Vermont. And I talked to them on the phone. I think it was an Asian gentleman, if I remember.
Oh, that's actually somebody different that I was thinking about. But you're right. There's him too.
Yeah, no, that's the one you had sent me, or at least that's who I spoke with. And we actually had like a 45-minute conversation. And then he said he would get back to me. We talked everything from wholesale to Amazon to website. And it was a very in detail conversation. And they said, get back to me. didn't get back. I sent a follow-up, didn't hear back. And I was like, maybe that's his way of telling me he's not interested. So yeah, so I still do the majority of our orders. I still pack. And then I do have this internship program I've been doing the last 4 years. And I get a college kid at UNH. And that person helps me with events. Some we do together if it's too big to do solo. But like the farmers market, we still do on Sundays. That the intern will do that. It's usually someone in between their junior and senior year, and then they'll help with fulfillment too. So they probably take like 20% of the fulfillment load. So I'd love to get to the point where I could have. It's funny because I need a full-time person, but I don't have a 40-hour-a-week job. Mm-hmm. So
I hate that.
It's that balance. Like, what do you do? So that's what I've been doing the last 4 years to get some help. But we'll see how it moves forward. I love the girl we have right now. She's awesome. And I hope there's a way we could kind of keep her aboard, but I don't know. Influx. Nice. It would be great if we did.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, I know that we've done some kitting for a few people, and I feel like we just don't hit the time markings. Like we don't do it fast enough compared to what I hear other people are doing. And,
how fast do you do it?
Well, I just remember there was somebody who they wanted us to charge 25 cents a box, and we mathed it out, and we would have to charge 50 cents a box to break even. And now this was a while back, and like maybe it would be different now, or who knows, but 50 cents like per unit is a lot of money. And I feel like we can do better than that. and I don't know what it is that we need to do that's better, or what, especially if this is our own product, what box do we need? That's some of the boxes that we've assembled for people are just so cumbersome, and how the pieces all click together. And, how can we find a box that's going to be quick and easy, and what's the best way of selling it? And I don't know. Or do we just do the bubbles, which we've been doing? Do we still do that? I don't know.
Well, I think this is about the time I ask you every year for 7 years now if you want to take over Spicy Shark Fulfillment. I have a feeling it's going to be the same answer.
Well, and the funny thing is that years ago, I wanted to do that. Fulfillment's awesome. And we just have never, we're good at what we do. I don't have scale at it yet. And, we're seeing growth in our future and expect a lot more fulfillment. And maybe once we get things working for us at a larger scale, so that it's much more repeatable and, and with lots of different people, then maybe that would be like, yeah, let's take it on. But, I think I've just kind of, I just tell people now that we don't do it, that we'll do pallet fulfillment, but we don't do piecemeal fulfillment.
It's funny, but when I talk to other owners, like, it amazes me how many are doing it the way I do it. You know what I mean? It's funny. Yeah. I call it our warehouse, but it's actually not our warehouse. It's a huge warehouse in Portsmouth, and we have 3 units in the warehouse. And that's where I did the fulfillment, was out of the warehouse when I lived in our condo. And it's just a crappy, it's a great spot that's inexpensive that I can afford, but it's just a terrible place to do fulfillment. And I would never feel comfortable having an employee doing it there. So I would do it. But then when we finally built our house and moved last year, we built a house literally with a fulfillment room in between my office and the garage. So now everything, it's like an extra schlep though, because when I take 2 pallets at a time from Butterfly, that goes to our warehouse in Portsmouth. And then because it's so inconvenient to do it at the warehouse, you have a different inconvenience of like bringing it to your house, but then it's so convenient to be able to do it from your house. And so it's like this crazy, the amount of times you got to touch the box from when it's made. It's very high touch, but it's so convenient to be able to do it from the house. But I always ask like other owners, I'm like, I must be like doing this so like backwards and ghetto.
Yeah.
And everyone, like most of the people I talk to, like, no, we do our own fulfillment and we actually do it out of our house. And I'm like, oh, okay. Not that that means it's good if everyone else is doing it, but it makes it a little bit less insane. But
Gabe, do you have capacity on your property, like on where you built your house, to have a storage facility so that you don't have to keep renting that space?
That. So we actually have 2.5 acres, or a little bit less than 2.5 acres. Where we built our house is one of only 2 places on the whole property that's not wetlands. So there is another place on the property that technically you could put a structure, and I've really considered it. However, where we moved, the fact that it would be technically a commercial building, even though it's not really. I mean, I don't know if it would get approved, and it's a pretty strict town. So to put something that would be not very pretty, because this would be closer to the road, and you have to be honest and open with the approval of what it's going to be used for. My guess, without asking, is that they would say that's a commercial thing that you're putting there, which we're not zoned where our land is on our house.
Could it be a garage? I mean, could you build a garage and build it for cars, just not happen to use it for cars?
Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces. I'm Spike, the owner and executive saucier. Our sauces are handmade in the Pacific Northwest using the best possible ingredient. We believe that hot sauce equates to a balance of sensational heat coupled with a robust and complex flavor profile. Live your hottest life with Irish Spikes. Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces are available at saucecult.com.
That is a way to do it. The only problem because what I would want to do in my perfect world, my warehouse in Portsmouth would go into this magic unicorn thing we're talking about, but there wouldn't be a way for a large truck to pull up to it.
Oh, there wouldn't be like a long enough driveway?
No, just based on the property, and the only place where it could go on the property, it would not be possible to drop pallets off there, because I'd want to do like kind of one-stop shop and over there. So
that's too bad.
Yeah, it is, because that could be nice, but it would also be a lot it would be a big spend.
Well, and that's why it would be a nice garage.
We have a big garage, but not big enough.
Right. That is too bad.
I wish we were able to have. We are in a building that used to be 2 separate buildings, and so we have on one side we've got a really nice space underneath on the bottom floor for our bottles, and then the empty bottles, and then on the other side is where we put our filled bottles, and we do our fulfillment there. But getting anything upstairs is this long flight of stairs, and I was taking a 18 by 18 by 18 box up one day and almost went back. Like I started to go back, and I was like, oh my God. So we're trying to change it all up, because I'm a big guy, and so my arms are big enough to hold that. And my fulfillment or my shipping managers, they're just a tiny little person. Viv, you're a tiny little person. I know Viv's going to listen.
She loves being called
that. we tease them all the time. We're trying to figure it out. We got to get it so that they're not having to.
Can you add any kind of lift?
No, it's a 100-year-old building. So it's just,
is
it can't
this
handle
your production
anything.
Spike too? Is this all one area? So you're not co-packing, you're making it yourself?
We do our own. Yeah. We bottle out of a bakery kitchen.
Say again?
We bottle out of a bakery kitchen. They have 2 kitchens because it was 2 different restaurants that they merged as one. And so the extra kitchen, they're a breakfast restaurant. They close at 2:00. So we bottle from then on.
Cool. That's fun.
Yeah. Works out well for us.
Are you the only one using it, or it's used as a commercial kitchen for other people too?
Just us. And my business partners are the owners of the restaurant, so that helps.
It does.
Spike, could you put in some kind of dumbwaiter? So not a lift that a person would go on, but like, I feel like the regulations would be different. And a friend of mine owns a bakery in New Hampshire, and her storage is down in the basement. And so they've got you can't put a person in it, but you can put stuff in it to get stuff downstairs.
Yeah. We probably could, but again, with it being so old, it would just cause a lot of problems to try and put something in. What I want to do, and I need to talk to my business partner again, is I want to put a hole or a doorway from one basement to the other, and I just don't know if it's possible. But if it were, it would save us a lot, because getting out of the other basement is easy. They wouldn't have. There's like a small set of stairs. It's not a big set of stairs, and it would save a lot of grief. So we're working on it. We'll come up with a solution at some point.
Yeah.
90% of my life is just, okay, what problem today? Let's figure it out.
Yep.
Is that how it always is?
No, no is not an answer.
Yeah.
it's how.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, what do you say we do hot sauce hot takes?
Yeah, let's do that.
So, Gabe, what trends in the hot sauce world that everybody else seems to be on board with, but what are you not on board with?
What am I not on board with? I don't know if it would be a trend, but I'm not on board with ever using extracts. I do notice when I go to the Fiery Food Show, I see more and more of them. And I do see more and more people who, kind of want to be on the floor sweating and puking. And our hot sauce festival, I think we have just the right amount of puke. So I'm nothing against that. I will say this last year, there was more on the stage than I was used to, and the buck stops with me. So I was cleaning out the people's vomits, not my favorite thing. But I do see kind of when I go to more events, like kind of a little bit more of the extreme side on that. And I get it, and it's fun to watch. But I'm not on board with ever using extracts in a spicy shark sauce. We will use fresh pods, we use mashes, we use powders, and usually a combination of the three in a sauce. It's kind of our little magic trick. We use all three. But I would never use an extract. And when I was starting, I did mess around with them. And I just find that, and I love my mouth on fire, but I love my mouth on fire while I'm eating. And they would just always linger so much once you were done with your meal. And being that there's no real flavor to the extract, just heat. I don't know. I always got this like kind of unpleasant, almost like a metallic, just like a really unpleasant aftertaste too. So I get it. And I think that probably will continue to grow because people who are, seeking heat, and you see the YouTube shows and you see the Netflix shows, they're increasing too. And that's kind of where the trend goes. And I will, to some extent, play along with it like I do with the Six Fin series that I started a few years back and continue to do just because I like things scorching hot. But I would never use an extract. I feel confident saying never. You should say never, never say never, but I think I say never. I'm never going to use an extract.
I've always, if there was ever a good reason, I probably would. But that's it. It'd have to be a good reason. And so far, I've never seen a good reason. So, no.
I don't think I've ever actually tasted extract. From the way everybody describes it, it would make me angry. And
a warm shot of whiskey, just angering.
a warm shot of whiskey sounds a lot better than. But I don't like things that affect the flavor of other foods that I eat. So you talk about like it lingering, like that's one of my problems I have with stevia. Is it sticks around and it messes with the flavors of other things that you eat, and I'm like, please stop doing that. Yeah. Bleh.
Yeah, really.
Hot sauce show and tell.
Yes.
So, Gabe, did you bring a sauce to show us?
Tell
us about?
It was a sauce that I was using today. So when you said to bring it, I said, that's easy because it's one of my favorites. So this is Naked Hot Sauce, another New Hampshire company. My buddy Kevin Talon, very talented man. He owns this company. He also owns a restaurant and a hot sauce shop in New Hampshire. And he's just an all-around awesome dude, as is his wife. And we always trade. He's always a vendor like Claire is at our New England Hot Sauce Fest. And I fell in love with his Reaper Madness when I first met him, probably back in 19 or 20. And so this was from our last trade, and it says, "Eat it at your own risk. It might just drive you mad." And as you can imagine, it is a scorching hot sauce with a lot of local Reapers here in New Hampshire, and I'm a big fan of it.
Awesome.
Nice. What'd you bring, Spike?
I brought Marie Sharp's Nopales Habanero.
Nice.
Which you know how I am with green habanero. I love green habanero. And I wanted to try this. Not a big fan of it. It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of green habanero, so that wouldn't. I brought Heartbeat's Lion Mane's Peri Peri.
Oh, that's good.
This one's so good. I've got a box of Heartbeat. And I was looking through there. I was like, let me grab one from there. And I forgot that I had this one in there, and I can't believe I haven't opened it yet. I actually just opened it while it was sitting here, because I was just like, I know I'm going to open it. I know it's going to go back in my fridge. It is really I'm not a big, mushroom is a really hard sauce to pull off, really hard ingredient to pull off in a sauce. And Peri Peri is so delicious. And, this is like one of my favorite sauces.
How is that dispensing wise from that bottle?
So they do this, I just broke it there, but, they have this thing up here. I think it's fine. Their sauces are smooth. See, this is where I just broke it off, but it's fine. It goes back on.
Flavor Balance Heat is brought to you by High Desert Sauce Co. out of Tucson, Arizona. Zach is the owner and creative mind behind High Desert Sauce Co.'s hot sauces. He says, at High Desert Sauce Co., we make sauces that we love. The balance of bold heat and fresh flavor is the heart of our philosophy. We keep it simple by using the best ingredients we can get our hands on and letting the natural flavors run the show. High Desert Sauce Co. Just the good stuff. Visit High Desert at hdsauceco.com.
They work pretty well. I think it's just an inherent difficulty of using the squeeze bottle. I know one of our other sauces that we had from them, it kept clogging up. This top is supposed to clog less than their old top, which I think it probably does, but this does pop off really easily. I've had that happen a few times. I don't know. I think that, I think it works. It does the job.
Yeah, I haven't had that specific one, but I have had sauces in that bottle, and I have had some clogging issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some too.
It looks nice. So we do the nugget honey for the heat mist in this same bottle, but we use a flip top cap. And I think that gives you a little bit more control on the pour. But this, has a really nice look that people like. So
yeah, and I like those bottles. I've always liked
the aesthetically. Yeah. I love it. And when I started the company and I was looking at all the packaging before I decided on what I decided on, I loved that bottle aesthetically so much, and I was actually close to, until I started using it. And obviously our sauces are very smooth, but they would get caught in there.
And also, the packaging in the plastic bottle is really hard. And the reason I opened it while we started talking is because this bottle had paneled. And so I was like, let me see if I can pop it out before I show it off. And, I managed to pop it out a little bit, but not a lot.
So that's actually a hot fill plastic?
No, it's not. It's this is a cold fill plastic. This is when we do honey, we have to keep it at I think the temperature it's supposed to go up to is like 130 degrees, but that's when you get paneling there. So we really keep the honey more at 105, 110. We just want it to be just warm enough to flow well into the bottle. But Heartbeat does this by keeping a clean room. They could be making computer chips and medical equipment in their clean room. And so it's bring the temperature up and then bring it down in a sterile environment. And that's how they don't have the same FDA regulations as we do, but they follow, because they sell in the United States, they follow those same rules. And, that's how they prevent any sort of contamination, is that it never leaves the clean room until it's sealed. So
got it.
Yeah, but that's complicated. That's a very complicated thing, and also still not always perfect because there's paneling. Yeah. So
we do ours in this size or this style.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work to try and make sure we didn't have paneling. And we still sometimes get it, but not very often. We got it.
But that's a hot fill, right, Spike?
It is. The gauge is extra thick, and we got our process authority allows us to bottle between 165 and 170.
Oh, and that's an 8-ounce.
Yes, I do really like it. That's one of the reasons why I was thinking about doing Amazon, because the experience I've had with Amazon is I've had a significant amount of bottles show up broken. And so I wasn't really going to do it. But now that we have plastic and we don't have any breakage, I think we had one. So I would be willing to do it now.
Yeah. You just have to pass whatever it is. You just have to pass the Amazon drop test.
Oh, there you go.
That's drop it from 3 feet 3 times.
Oh. I think some of these guys throw it against the door as hard as they can. Some of the ones that get broken, I'm like, this is just out of control.
And I think I've said this on the show before, but we recently changed our packaging. So we use all paper, like wrappings and everything. And we probably get a similar number of breakages, maybe a little bit less. But the biggest difference is because our old packaging had cornstarch peanuts, and when they would get wet, they would dissolve. And so people would get the box and say, "Hey, this was horribly packed. Look how much extra space there is in here," because the cornstarch peanuts had all dissolved. And so we'd get more criticism. But now when it breaks, people are like, "Oh, I can see you packed it really well, and I'm sorry it broke."
I had one the other day in North Carolina, and it was 6 bottles. And I know for a fact I pack it well. I probably spend more money than I need to with the bubble wrap and the compostable peanuts. All 6 bottles broken. And he sent me the picture, so I knew it wasn't BS. And I'm like, this had to be some guy who's having the worst day of his life, and he took anabolic steroids and just destroyed it. I was like, I even said to him, I go, I'm amazed, man. I was like, I've never sent that order in that box with 6 bottles and had everyone break. I said, I am absolutely sending you a replacement one, but this is one of a kind. I was like, this was not just done by the normal process of shipping. Someone had their way with this box.
Have you ever had a certain area that you send it to and they get broken? Like, there's been a few, like that post office is not the place.
Falls, Montana. Yes. I have an account in Great Falls, Montana, and an account in Manio, North Carolina, wholesale accounts, and it's almost never do I not have at least a broken bottle in a box.
Wow. Yeah.
We have a co-pack client who, for a little while, their FedEx driver clearly hated them because he actually had it on camera. The guy. So this was a full. This was four cases of hot sauce per box packed up. So this is like a 45-pound box, and the guy would throw them at his porch.
Oh, God!
And then kick them and roll them.
You kind of hope it's personal, and that's
right.
Yeah,
right. Well, he would have his dolly, and then he would just tip the dolly and let them all tumble off. Like, it was really, it was impressive. So then we started shipping to a UPS store instead, and that worked a little better.
Yeah, great. That's wild.
Yeah. I'm Claire George. I own Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. We make hot sauce, mustard, cookies, and granola, and 100% of our products are made with Vermont ingredients. The thing that I hear most often from people is that my hot sauce tastes like the peppers that are in it. We do really simple recipes that don't get too crazy and nitpicky, just to really accentuate the flavor of the peppers that are in there. The unique thing about our hot sauces is how much we feature the farm and the relationship with the farm and really bring the terroir of Vermont to our hot sauces. I am pretty sure I am the #1 purchaser of Vermont-grown chili peppers. I would love it if there would be a legitimate pepper market in Vermont where people would know Vermont for its peppers. We're all better for supporting each other. And I think that part really shows itself with the collaborations that I do with the other businesses and the other farms, that I love working together and coming up with new ideas and presenting each other with new challenges. And I think overall that's the attitude here. And I absolutely love it because that's my attitude. I try to live my life with love. The ingredients that I use, I would say that my values are reflected in that, that I use ingredients that, again, feel good, feel loving, feel supportive. The relationship with the farmer was how it all began. If I changed the reason for it being, if I went out and bought some commodity peppers, it might not be as good.
You can find Butterfly Bakery of Vermont hot sauce, mustard, granola, and cookies at butterflybakeryvt.com.
Gabe, what's next for you? Where do you see Spicy Shark going?
What's been really exciting lately, and this has to kind of goes back to the part of our brand that's about shark conservation, which is a big piece of what we do. Because of that, we've gotten into a lot of aquariums and the gift stores in an aquarium. And so it all started with a cold call I did at the Virginia Beach Aquarium, I think in 2019. And, usually cold calls don't lead to anything, but I was like, oh, the hell with it. They've got sharks in this aquarium and I'm passing through on my way back from Orlando. And I got in and the buyer was all about it. And we got into there. Then she became friends, or she was friends with the region director who had 4 North Carolina aquariums. That's actually the Manio, North Carolina aquarium was one of the ones that has a UPS driver I guess I don't like. But anyway, so they became friends, and so we got into the 4 North Carolina ones. But these are all independent. And then I started digging into that industry and realizing that it's 2 major groups, kind of like a lot of, if you go to the Boston Garden, it'll be Aramark or Delaware North who manages the bars and the restaurants. It's not the Boston Garden. So a lot of these aquariums, they have, a concessionaire company. So one of them is Event Network, another one is SSA. And so I started learning this, and they're big companies. So I'd reach out to them, never hear back. And so I started kind of developing relationships with individual store managers, and they would kind of advocate on our behalf. And then eventually Event Network gave us a shot. So now we're in 17 aquariums through Event Network, anywhere from Boston to Tampa, out to Seattle, Oregon, San Diego, Texas, we're in Missouri. So those have gotten, they're huge. Those 17 aquariums are in my top 25 accounts in the country. It's wild. Wow. And they charge a premium price for it too. So I think really expanding, because those are places that not every hot sauce can go. It wouldn't make sense for Butterfly Bakery to be or any other hot sauce company to be in an aquarium gift store. So it's a real niche that kind of works for our brand. And so we quote unquote own the hot sauce space. There was no hot sauce space before, but that's been really good. So I think I'm going to keep trying to knock the door down on the other company and hopefully have some success with them. So really, I think pushing the aquarium class of trade, because it's been so successful for us. And, maybe I've tried for a while and haven't been able to expand with Whole Foods. I've been in the Northeast Whole Foods for almost 4 years now, and it's been great. But expanding that would be great. I don't really have an interest in being a grocery brand, just the slotting fees you have to pay, you got to go through a big distributor like a KeHE, and they just, they take you for a ride. And that's my whole life has been dealing with distributors. So I know that game, and it's just, and, honestly, 80% of my business are mom and pops, small businesses just like me. And, I think it's a turnoff if all of a sudden you're in Shaw's and Hannaford and Market Basket. It loses the appeal to support you as a small guy. So I'm not even trying to say that I could get into those grocery stores. I probably couldn't. But if I could, that's not really where I want to take the brand. So I think it's continuing to expand into, different independents, and maybe do another region within Whole Foods and really dig further into, the aquatic class of trade, the aquarium class of trade. But, we were on the show Hot Ones, as Claire knows well. It would be pretty awesome to get back into that. So that's always kind of on my radar. I'm definitely going to try my best with this new 6-fin that we're making. So I guess those would be the things that are next. And maybe my part-time person turns into a full-time. That would be nice. My
there you go.
Nice.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, same question.
No.
What's next in the next year? Anything different? Do you see anything different, or kind of just?
We're trying to get a bottling line up, and it's difficult for us more in our space because we're actually on 3 levels of the restaurant. We are upstairs is our dry storage, then we have the bakery, and then we have 2 different basements. So we're actually, I guess, kind of 4. And so to try and figure that out, once we can get that figured out, I think we're going to be in much better shape. I have an extra room downstairs on the side that we would need it to be on, but I just got to figure out how to make it work. How about you, Claire?
What's next for Claire?
Oh gosh. Well, I think I've mentioned it on the show already. We're in the process of seeking investment, which is a wild new adventure for us. That's actually going well. So that's exciting. Because it doesn't always. So that's cool. And we're seeking investment to put towards sales and marketing to grow the brand. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of new sales and marketing efforts to just grow our presence and do more direct to consumer, more Amazon, more small. I'm with you, Gabe, on the mom and pop stores. That's really our bread and butter. We're into some small chains and we might continue with that, but it's really, it's really refreshing that when you call a small store and they say, yes, I'd love to talk to you. Please send us stuff. And then you tell them your price and they go, okay. And then they pay that price.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're going to be doing that and hopefully be doing a little bit of a brand update too. That's kind of one of our things that we're working toward. That's what that actually means. It's still a little up in the air, but
I love all the way your labels have been going. I've really liked it.
Thank you.
All right, you ready for the speed round? You're going to be familiar with some of these because so we did an interview. We interviewed you at Fiery Foods, and none of the audio came out.
Oh,
for any of them. Like,
it
was awful. I got home and it sounded like it when I listened on the phone, and then when I got home and put it up, it was like, oh, this is not going to work. So some of these questions you may maybe remember. It's been a long time.
All right.
My
brain's not going to be working so good.
All right. So these are quick questions. If you win the lottery, what's the first hot sauce related thing you buy?
Oh, well, I guess every season of Hot Ones. I've never gone through all of them.
Well, I guess I meant for the company.
Oh, I thought you meant hot sauce was. What is the first hot sauce thing I buy? Oh, geez. I would say I would use the funds to take a trip to Guadalupe and go cage diving while bringing Spicy Shark and Carolina Reapers and feeding them to a great white shark.
Oh, there you go. All right. If you had to give up the hot sauce business, but could do, we already know this one, but could do anything else, what would you do?
Oh my God. Well, I know what would be horrible would be to just run my wedding venue, because dealing with brides as it is pretty brutal. I would absolutely find my way into the aquatic industry somehow, whether it's with scuba diving and something that I'd probably be spending a lot more time in Florida, because diving in New England is like skiing in New England. So, you do it because it's the only, you live there, but, and you can do it anywhere. If you do it here, you can do it anywhere. Same with skiing. So yeah, it would be something in marine life. By
the way, I was a wedding coordinator for several years, and
You get forced into being a pseudo wedding coordinator, even as a venue owner, where you're doing that. Like, even though we don't require, but we strongly advise you to have a planner, you still take on that role because they're just going to you as the contact.
Okay, this is Desert Island hot sauce. You get to use one hot sauce for the rest of your life. It can't be one of yours. What's it going to be?
Oh, obviously smoked onion by Butterfly.
Oh, there you go. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. That's my Desert Island hot sauce too.
And oddly, one of Claire's is my Desert Island hot sauce too.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. If you had a sandwich named after you, what kind of sandwich would it be, and what kind of heat would you add?
Well, I'm half Italian, but it would be a full Italian, and it would be 6-fin heat. It would actually be Hammergate on the Italian.
Awesome. All right. If you could go back in time and change one thing about your business journey, what would it be?
Ooh. I definitely went too far, too fast. When you first start, you want to be everywhere, and I was everywhere for sure, like sampling as much as I could. But I was in the first year, I'm spending money doing a trade show in New Jersey for food service. I hadn't even fully developed my first food service package. It's like, what the hell was I doing? It's like $2,000 plus the travel and the hotel. And it really did make sense at the time that it made sense to do. And, I didn't get one customer, and why would I? It made no sense. No one knew who the hell my brand was. I didn't have a fully developed food service specific product. And I think just, you get so eager to make it work, because that first year I wasn't profitable. And I also knew from my business plan and from what other people said, like, you don't have to be profitable in year one to know that you're going to be a success. But just the amount of anxiety and stress after kind of having a somewhat safe corporate job, I was just everywhere. And I think I could have honed it in more and dropped less money on things that ended up leading to nothing.
Awesome. All right. What's the best business advice you've been given?
Probably to really own your local market. And that's also the advice that I give to people when they ask me business advice. As much as I'm kind of, I guess, I'm saying a little bit of the opposite. I did go everywhere, but at the same time, I had 2-3 farmers markets that I always did locally. And it was kind of something that I was told, but also I kind of saw it from the beer business too, like these brands that start and all of a sudden they're from California, but they're in New Hampshire after 2 months, and they always fizzled out. And I just was told, like, really focus on your home market, make sure that everyone in your surrounding zip codes knows the brand, tries the brand. And that really was the core of my focus. And by doing so many farmers markets, you're bumping into the guy who runs the meat market, and then you're talking about wholesale, and then the local meat market carries you. And I think we really did that really well. Like, our geography kind of expanded out where it would be really great where I'd get a call for someone from Portland, Maine, who was like, oh, I was in Portsmouth and I saw this in this store. And so I think it is really important that local people know you, know who you are, and I guess kind of being part of the community as well.
Yeah, I agree. If you had to fight another hot sauce company owner, who would it be, and would you win?
Oh, you know what? So I have to fight someone.
I mean, if you had to.
Yeah, if I had to fight someone, well, it would be someone that I like. I think it would be fun, since he's one of my better buddies. I think it would be fun to do a boxing match with Ed Curry. And I think because he's such a wily veteran, he might find a way to win. I think what he would do, though, is I think he'd squirt extract in my eye. I think I'd be like ready for the knockout punch, and he'd throw some pucker butt extract at me.
Well, and Smokin' Ed sounds like a boxer's name.
And by the way, I have to, not only has Ed become a good friend of mine, he is just such an awesome person, but I was saying how the 17 aquariums are in my top 25 accounts. Puckerbutt Pepper Company in Fort Mill, South Carolina, his retail store where he carries other people's sauces, that's also in like my top 15. Like, he and his staff crushes Spicy Shark. And I love all those guys, Bella and Dark, who work for Ed. They're the MCs at New England Hot Sauce Fest. And they're just awesome people. So it would be a very loving fight.
There you go. If you could collaborate with any hot sauce company, who would it be?
Oh, you know what? My buddy Steve Seabury from High River. And the reason is he's the only other guy in the hot sauce business that really likes Static X. And I'm a huge metalhead, but specifically,
I love Static X.
Love Static X. All right, well then you're the second, Spike. So I think we would collaborate well because we would like really, really heavy metal soothes our souls. Like it doesn't get us worked up. So I think we'd have the right music while making like a little Tears of the Sun from his mixed with like a Megalodon. We could do something good. So yes, my man Steve from High River would be my collaborating.
There you go. Let's see. If you had to pare down to only one sauce, which one would it be? And it doesn't have to be one you necessarily like, or it can be. It just, so like I said, like the most.
For me or for sales?
Whichever. You just have to pare down to one. Now you have to decide. This is where that kind of dichotomy or that issue comes in.
It's going to be the OG. It's my bestseller. It's the first one I ever made. The reason I started this company was from that sauce that me and my sister in using the Scotch bonnets from her husband's garden. It's still... I probably use the Hamagata more because I just love it so much, but I like things hotter. But it's our bestseller. It's like touches my heart because it's what started the whole company. My OG. It's the original.
Awesome. Let's see. If your brand were a caveman, would it be a hunter or a gatherer, and why?
Oh, are you kidding me? Hunter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we're sharks and, we're very smart hunters, but we don't kill indiscriminately. It's just to get by, but we're going to do our thing.
There you go. Describe your favorite hot sauce from your line without saying a single ingredient or heat level.
Okay. I am on Bourbon Street, but I've had my fill, so it's time to go to Giacomo's by Tulane University, which is one of the best Cajun restaurants in that entire area, and truly shows the vibe of the culinary, just the culinary vibe of New Orleans. And I'm going to have it on some jambalaya, and I'm going to have it on some Cajun shrimp.
Nice.
Awesome. That sounds good. All right. And now, say that last part again.
I don't say what it is, though.
Yeah. I mean, you can say it now if you'd like.
Oh,
go ahead.
Hamagator.
Yeah, I figured it was kind of obvious.
It was well described.
Yeah,
well described.
Well, that was a really good question. That's hard to do.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the look.
I like going to do another New Orleans vacation as I was talking.
The look of panic in people's eyes when we start that. They go, "Oh, I don't know how to do that." You did a great job.
I always go there when I go down there.
If Pepto-Bismol asked you to make a hot sauce using Pepto-Bismol, what flavors would you make, and what kind of heat would you use?
I'd actually make it mild, and I would make it, I would probably make it a sweet dessert sauce. And the reason I'm thinking that is because at church this morning, my poor daughter vomited on the pew, and I had to take her home and give her some Pepto and some other things. And the reason I think she got sick is from all the Halloween candy. And she was just so upset with the flavor of the Pepto. And I was like, so I'm like, this is pretty apropos you're asking me this. So I think I would make it a dessert, Halloween-themed, low-heat, kid-friendly, recover from Halloween Pepto hot sauce. How's that?
I love it. That's great. I think that's one of the best ones we've had.
Really? I mean, that's what happened today. So it was fresh in my head.
That's great. Well, we're done.
And I didn't have to clean it because it was such a, so my wife stayed behind me. Luckily, we had 2 cars. So I really actually lucked out. I just took her out of there and drove her home, and then my wife had to clean the vomit.
Awesome. So that's it. We're all done. It was great to be able to talk to you.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you again.
I'm so glad I got to be on. This was a ton of fun, and I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m. to get to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So I'm going to be in Tennessee all week for a gift show, trade show I do down there. So
oh, wow.
I'll be stopping at my favorite Buc-ee's. I don't know if you guys have been to a Buc-ee's, but it is like the greatest chain there ever was. And I get legitimately excited for this trip just that I get to go to a Buc-ee's.
I've heard great things about them.
It's the best.
I've heard, I believe I've heard about them. Yeah. Sounds
to call it a gas station chain wouldn't do it justice because they're bigger than Costco. But I mean, it's just, if you get your hot sauce in there, that would be something, but it's mostly private label these days there. But it's the greatest. The brisket tacos are like, I've been thinking of them for like 2 weeks now, so I'm pretty pumped.
There you go.
Not the 16-hour drive, but to get to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gabe. Really great talking to you.
Thank you. It was a blast.
This has been a Spike Mind Media production.